If the ODM has not agreed, then there is nothing like a resolution of Azimio. And in fact, Azimio was dead when ODM left it.
Dr. Oburu Odinga has called the Azimio la Umoja a moribund organization and that ODM is no longer a member of the Azimio la Umoja and that ODM left the Azimio la Umoja long time ago and that there is no decision that can be carried in terms of making Azimio la Umoja leadership without consulting ODM. Now, the question is, if ODM wants to enter into a coalition with UDA, first, it has a responsibility of making sure they get out of Azimio la Umoja coalition. The same as UDA, if they want to get into coalition with ODM, they have to exit Kenya Kwanza coalition. What does that mean? Who is pulling the strings? Is it William Samuel Ruto or is it the ODM itself? Listen to Dr. Oburu Odinga on this.
The strongest party in Azimio was ourselves as ODM. There is nobody who can make a decision in Azimio without concurrence of ODM. And you cannot purport to appoint a new leader of Azimio, excluding and bypassing this party called ODM. If the ODM has not agreed, then there is nothing like a resolution of Azimio. And in fact, Azimio was dead when ODM left it. We left it a long time ago. It is only a formality which we have not performed and which we are going to perform very soon. We are going to exit that moribund organization called Azimio. So somebody should not be floating something which is moribund, he knows he is dead, and you are raising the dead from the grave. We are going to move out of it.
Well, this is my thought. Just as I said, ODM needs to pull out of Azimio la Umoja to get into a coalition with UDA, the same as UDA getting out of Kenya Kwanza for them to enter into a coalition with ODM. Therefore, you will ask yourself, who is pulling these strings? Because as far as we are concerned, ODM is no longer the ODM we knew of democracy, of fighting for itself. An ODM that when the country was shaking and lacking balance, it was consulted through the leadership of the late former Prime Minister and leader of ODM, Raila Amolo Odinga. But currently, as it is, the same way Babu Owino did call it, this is a limited geared towards making profit. Sifuna did say that they are not using funds from the ODM coffers to run these activities, therefore begging the question, who is offering the money? Hence, the reality comes that it is government, it is President William Samuel Ruto. So what would they want in return? Because in politics, you don't just pull strings for nothing. There has to be an interest pegged on it. And for me, this is the beginning of the death of ODM. Maybe I'm not explaining this better. We have Professor Fred Ogola, the Commissioner, People's Restorative Justice Commission. Now, let us listen to his analysis of ODM walking out of the Azimio la Umoja and Azimio la Umoja being resurrected as it was dead.
And I can tell you that the people who have resurrected Azimio, resurrected because it was dead, because they say it was dead, so there must be a resurrection. Mm-hmm. So those who have to know that Jesus also resurrected, so Azimio can say resurrect. So if it was dead, it can be resurrected. So it must have resurrected. Now, why are the president uncomfortable? The president is uncomfortable because these guys have done something very cynical. You know, ODM is a member of Azimio. And the people in Azimio are seeing that ODM want to enter in a coalition with UDA. Now they are giving the president a headache. That's why he's worked out. In fact, the president, when you see that he's talking with that anger, you see the voice talks like he's comfortable, but he's angry. And I say, I'm enjoying life. You can't enjoy life when you're that angry. The president is angry because for ODM to get into coalition with the UDA, it must exit Azimio officially. Like if you go to RPP website, there are only 2 coalitions registered. One is Azimio, the second one is Kenya Kwanza. So he is in Kenya Kwanza, and Azimio wants to have a coalition. So even him as UD has to now exit from Kenya Kwanza and a coalition with the ODM. And ODM to exit Azimio, it has to first of all do like 30 days or maybe 3 months notice, I think 30 days notice, then conduct an NDC. The NDC of ODM will be so chaotic. It looks like, Fred, you have been dating 4 girls and they don't know you're dating them, then you find yourself on the same bed. Can you imagine the chaos you can see there? It will be so chaotic that there will be no decision to be made whatsoever. Because remember, an NDC, normally there are some things that must be ratified. Who will be reading what to be ratified? If you tell Sifuna to write what needs to be ratified in the NDC, you give one to Babu Owino, you give another one to Oburu Odinga, you give another one to Ida, you give it to Winnie. They'll have different versions of things to be ratified, and there will be no agreement whatsoever. That's why I'm telling you, just like a polygamist, in my culture, a polygamist never sleeps in one woman's house. A polygamist must have his house. The women come when they want and with appointment. But if your ODM has now become a polygamistic environment, isn't it? And there's no woman in ODM who has got the control, that's control. The second thing which is happening here is that maybe Azimio guys, like Nakalonzo, they were trying to register a coalition. DCP must be in a coalition with the DP, with PLP, Jubilee, among others, and Wiper. Now, another lawyer, for example, like my brother here, must have told them, instead of registering a new coalition, why don't you just put this coalition under Azimio and then rebrand it? Because the Azimio is Raila. If you look at Azimio, is that strong R, Raila Odinga. So they have to remove that strong R and maybe put K, I don't know.
It is really true that Azimio la Umoja was dead, and this was just a resurrection of it. Now, what is the intention of resurrecting Azimio la Umoja? In a piece I did earlier on, I did say this is a way of former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta telling the ODM, you are blaming me for Raila not clinching into presidency. But remember, Raila Omolo Odinga got an average of 1 million votes from the central region, what has never happened since he started contesting for presidency. Yet, he was only short of 200,000 votes to beat William Samoei Ruto. Why? Because your people never voted. So, the former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta wants to prove a pointer to these ODM and the new union they are getting into with UDA, alongside other reasons. Anyway, what is your take on this? Kindly give me your thought in the comment section below. If you're watching from my YouTube channel and you love content of this nature, kindly subscribe and press the notification button, so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Dab Radio. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Dab Radio ndio mpango mzima.